Hello everyone, I'm Naval Yamul. Welcome back to my YouTube channel Data Master. In this video, we are going to discuss about what is RAG, that is Retrieval Augmented Generation. In this video, we are going to look at the theory part, but in the next video, I'm going to cover the hands-on on RAG, implementing it on Databricks, and I can also explain you how we can implement the RAG apart from Databricks as well. So before we touch on to the RAG, I would like to explain you why we need RAG. So we have the LLM. So we are just talking about only LLM. Let me draw a control flow diagram here. We have an LLM. You have a user, and user try to write a query that is nothing but a prompt, and your LLM tries to generate it. Your LLM can be your open source LLM or a closed source LLM, like an OpenAI's GPT model or your Meta's Llama model and so on, and it tries to generate the output, and we get an output here, okay, in the form of text. It can be varieties of other formats as well, but we'll focus on the text. But if you're just using LLM, there is a limitations to this. Even if you are pro in writing a prompt, like if you know the techniques and strategies, tips and tricks on how to write a prompt, better prompt, still the LLM has a limitations. The first limitation I would like to say is your LLM is not updated on real time. So it was trained, or it is trained based on certain date or a certain timestamp, and if you ask the questions beyond that, it won't able to answer it. That is the first limitations on the using LLM alone. And the second limitation is your LLM won't able to respond your organizational data or your proprietary data. So if you have your private data in your organization and you are just using an LLM and writing a prompt, your LLM won't try to respond it because it is trained on the public data, but it's not trained on your organizational data. So it won't able to respond. That is the second limitation. Talking about the third limitation, it will not able to do the citation. Like, okay, it generates the output. So from where the output comes from, the citation is not done. But now, if you are looking at the latest models, so yeah, latest models are capable of getting you some citations. But in general, it is, your LLM alone cannot get the citations. So these are few of the limitations on using just an LLM. But I want to build a generative AI application that can answer my proprietary data, that can answer my organizational data. So we are going to use a technique called a RAG. RAG is Retrieval Augmented Generation. I hope you got a clear understanding, like just using an LLM, what are the limitations? So that's the reason why we are moving towards the RAG. And let me tell you, more than 60 to 70% of the projects in the Gen AI can be just implemented by using this RAG architecture. Simply you need to understand the concepts here and you can just implement it. Most of the use cases can be done on the RAG. And after RAG, if you want, or if you have some more complex workloads, you can do it by using a agentic AI. Now, what is agentic AI? What is RAG? I have made a separate video on it. If you haven't watched it, so I'll be just leaving the link. You can check on the I button and you can check it later on. Now, RAG stands for Retrieval Augmented Generation. I'll break down these words into smaller parts and try to explain it in very simple words. Let me start with the RAG. Let us assume that you have your proprietary data, you have your organizational data. Suppose we from the data master, we have a huge data sets in the form of PDF, the form of Word document and so on. Let us assume that we have a huge chunks of huge data sets on PDFs. Okay, it's in the PDF. So I'm talking about the raw data. Okay, these are PDFs. You have n number of PDFs, we can imagine. Each PDF can contain 20, 30, 50 pages. It's a purely unstructured data. It's purely a raw data, raw unstructured data. It's in the form of PDF. So if you are trying to implement a RAG on top of this raw data, so actually I'm trying to query something based on this raw data. So a user is trying to query from this data. So your LLM tries to respond it. Just using LLM, you won't able to respond it because it was not trained on this proprietary data. So now what we are going to do is we're going to take this raw data, we're going to try chunking them. Like we're going to break them into smaller pieces. But before that, we are going to extract that data. So first we are going to use some Python's libraries and we are going to extract the text out of that. Basically, we are going to extract the text out of it. So once we extract the text, we generally store them into a data frame. But when it comes to Databricks, we use a PySpark engine there. So we recommend using it as a data frame style. That is the best one. It's not mandatory to always use a data frame and save it to a table, but you can save it to other formats as well. But from raw, that is your PDF, we are extracting the text and we are taking this text and saving it to a place and we call it as a data frame. We just call it as a data frame. So once we save this or once we extract the text, we need to save it somewhere. So to save this data, we generally save it in a database. So in our transactional workloads or in your analytics workload, we generally use databases, data warehouses, and so on. But here we have the same thing, but we are going to save it into a database. But it's not just a database, it's a vector database. It's a vector database. Now, what is vector database? Or we simply call it as a vector DB. So this text, we cannot save it text as it is to a vector DB because it needs a lot of storage for that. But we can convert this text to a numerical representation. So we can convert this to a numerical representation so that it can store it into the vector format, like a vector. So suppose if you have a text, let us assume that my PDF starts with a company name called Data Master Consulting, and now we are extracting the text out of it, and this DMC, that is Data Master Consulting, that converts to a numerical representation. It is in the form of text. You get a clear understanding once we move to the hands-on, but yeah, your text is converted to the numerical representation, and we just take this and store it into the vector DB, vector database. So we have few open source vector DBs, like you have Google's Chrome DB, and we have Pinecone and so on. But when it comes to Databricks, Databricks has its own vector database. We are going to create that vector database and the index within that. So yes, this whole huge text is converted to the numerical representation. That numerical representation is actually called as an embedding. So we use an embedding here and we convert this text into the numerical form. Okay, so it's an embedding. So we convert that text to a numerical form using an embedding model. So we have few embedding models as well, which tries to convert that text to numbers in simple words and take these numbers and store it into the vector DB. So this is a simple one, like how the text raw data converts to text and save it to a number. Now let us look at the other side where you are actually, there is a user who is trying to query now, is trying to query. So let us assume that is writing the question like, what is Data Master Consulting? Is writing some query called what is Data Master Consulting and what is DMC in simple words. Okay. Now this LLM is asking for the LLM. Now you have a model. Now it can be your open source model or it can be closed source model. Let us assume that it's a GPT model from OpenAI. Okay, so this GPT model will try to answer this, but it has to check the vector, it has to check the similarities between this. So before we directly answer it from the GPT or from the model, your LLM model, so what we are going to do is we are going to take this query from the user. I'll just cancel all, and I'm going to create an embeddings for this. I'm going to create an embeddings by using the embedding model again. So we create an embeddings out of it. So you know what is embeddings now? Embeddings is nothing but creating a numerical representation from this text. So the user is querying it, we take that text, we create an embeddings like a numerical format, numerical representation, and this embeddings, whatever the embeddings we get it, we try to send it to our vector search for a similarity search. Like it will search like, oh, what is data master consulting. So whatever the text, the keyword search is going on, we are just pulling out all that, and then we're going to augment into the LLM. So here we are talking about similarity search between the query that is passed from the user and from our vector DB, whatever we have stored it, it will just do a similarity search between this. So we generally call this as a retriever. That is, you are searching from the similar data from the vector DB. So whatever we are retrieving it, okay, we got some similarities between these, the user's query and what we have pulled out from the text of the PDF. We got these similarities, and we take that similarity scores, or we take that similarity vectors, obviously, and then we try to augment, we try to ingest, we try to inject into the LLM. So these are the different terminologies we use it. So now we have a LLM here. Now we have a LLM. So we assume that our LLM is a GPT model. So we take this similarity and we try to inject it, or in simple words, it's an augment into the LLM. And in the LLM, like when we are calling a GPT, we try to use a prompt template. We say that, okay, you act like a assistant, or you act like a researchers, and so on, like a prompt engineering, so that whatever the similarity search or whatever the results the vector DB has ingested to the LLMs, it tries to improve that results, and then it generates the results. Then it tries to generate it, and then the user gets the output. So this is how the retrieval augmented generation actually works. So a quick recap. So the user is trying to query something, and we are just converting that text to the embeddings, and we are taking that embedding and retrieving, or we are just searching it to the vector DB, whatever the data we have saved it. And if we get that similarities, it just augments it into the LLMs, whatever the model you are using it. And depending upon the prompt we mention it, like we use a prompt templates and so on, we take that similarity searches and then try to generate an output for us in the form of text. Obviously, we have assumed it all as a text, so it generates an output in the form of text. So in this way, you will able to achieve like that was not possible with LLMs. You can achieve querying on the proprietary data. So now if you ask any question related to my PDF, it tries to generate an output. You can summarize the document, you can pull out some insights, you can ask any details related to the PDFs, it tries to answer it. And not only just answer it, it gives me a citation as well. Oh, this answer is coming from this paragraph, this page, and so on. It helps you to achieve the citations. And behind the scene, if I upload a new document to my raw data or my storage account, in our case, it can be your S3, or it can be your ADLS, or in Databricks, it can be your volume. You can upload it. And behind the scene, we can just run an entire pipeline to extract the text from that new PDF, create an embeddings on it. So we have that all features available in the Databricks, where we create a data frame. From data frame, we create a delta tables. And once we create a delta table, we can just sync them to a vector DB. We can keep on adding or appending it to the vector DB. So even we can achieve the real-time querying as well. So if you have to ask something related to the real-time data, once you update your vector DB, once you update your index, even you can get the answers from that as well. So this is the basic of the retrieval augmented generation. So I'll prepare another video on RAG, specializing into Databricks. So what embedding models we have in the Databricks, and what is vector DB, how that vector DB exactly looks like, and if the user is trying to query it, how those embeddings are retrieved from the vector DB, how it is augmented to the GPT, and how the your LLM model try to respond. And let me tell you, so for implementing or for doing all this, we use a framework called LangChain. With the help of LangChain, we can do that. But we have other frameworks as well, like a Llama index. By using a Llama index, you can still achieve the same retrieval augmented generation. But we will be using LangChain in the next video. In the coming videos, if you still want me to implement using a Llama index framework, I can do that as well. So yeah, that's all about the RAG, very basic. So if you like the content, I request you to please subscribe to my channel, like the video, share it with your friends. Thank you for watching again. See you in the next video. Bye bye.